January, so we could be
Yeah,
playing this pretty soon.
So one of the most interesting things about the most recent the most recent batch of Resident Evil 9 leaks is that
Leon.
supposedly no, I'm talking like take characters out. I'm talking
Okay.
they're talking about like the style of game is something totally new. Like it's not like
Oh.
Resident Evil 7 and 8, and it's not like Resident Evil pre 7. It's something like
It's supposed to be semi-open world, kind of like the hub and spoke system of what they did for Village.
But I'm also talking about like it's supposedly it's not first person. The camera angle is different. Like it's there's
Could it be a Strand game?
It could be a Strand game.
Maybe more horror. There's a lot of details out there if you really do follow like.
We just don't know which ones to believe or not at this point.
Well, it's all from Dusk Golem. That's the thing. All of it's been from Dusk Golem. Now there has been like last year there were some leaks that were getting out there on Reddit, and Dusk Golem says, "No, that's all bullshit. This guy's just making all this shit up." And they're like, "Okay, but like, you know, you're not. You don't have the best track record. Are you sure we're not supposed to believe this guy?" But
the last I heard about like is that it takes place on like an island in the like Philippines or something.
Singapore, I think, or around that.
Or was it Singapore? Yeah, like
I think something like that. But anyways, it's exciting. It's supposed to be like I think the project originally started as like a very ambitious like take on Resident Evil, and I think maybe that's scaled back maybe a little bit because I think it was originally going to be something else. But I don't know. It's exciting. It's a big thing. The other thing,
honestly, I want to see them continue to kind of like experiment because I love, even though I don't like 8 as much as 7, it was crazy unexpected and like out of left field in a lot of ways. I want to see them keep experimenting with that kind of shit.
So. I think I heard it's more horror-y this time.
Hell yeah, it's cool for me.
There's something about it about a witch. Like the way it was described to me, it felt like one of the early prototypes for Resident Evil 4. Like that ghost version that they had?
But like 8 was all about witches. Come on. Or not all about. No, I guess it was all about werewolves.
Yeah, but 9 is supposed to be once again about the mold thing again.
We'll see. We'll
go on that. We should have
we'll
been
see
reading Dusk Golem.
So
somebody posted a nice summary of all this shit, but whatever.
In the Resident Evil lore, there's like multiple different unrelated kinds of like zombie afflictions.
Mm-hmm. Well,
right?
It's all bullshit.
And like some of them are science, and some of them are mystical.
Supernatural.
Oh, it's all science, but they get twisted into supernatural. There's like 7 or 8 viruses at this point. Like it's parasites or it's whatever, whatever.
It's
How do you feel about playing as Leon again, though? Kind of
guys. I gotta be honest. They gotta. I mean, I love Leon. I love Claire.
I'm done with Leon.
Chris, Jill. They need to like just introduce some new blood or bring back.
You can't do that because they just did that with Ethan.
But like Ethan was so much of he was more just
milk
like
toast the person.
But he wasn't even milk toast. He was a stand-in for the player practically. I'm talking about like introduce like a new icon. Person? Or bring in a character that like people liked from other games that was like a side character, something that wasn't one of the main characters. I would love to see. They introduced a bunch of characters in 6. They introduced Sheva in 5. I mean, there's been other characters besides though. Go back and think about what is it? Oh my god, what's the episodic one that?
Revelations
was a
2?
Sequel. Revelations 2. Barry, like bring back Barry. I don't fucking know. Like
I don't care about either. Like the lore characters, they're just a bunch of outfits. Okay, like who gives a shit?
The rumor for a while was that it was going to star Leon, but also Jill was going to be in it.
Well, that
Jill, but Valentine,
Jill. I mean, I would much rather have one of the female protagonists come back at this point because I feel like it's been a bit of a sausage fest the past.
It is fucking crazy to me that Resident Evil fans, like you go into like a thread of like the hardcore Resident Evil fans, like a Dusk Golem, he's one of them. All they're talking about are the fucking characters and the story. It's like, who gives a shit?
I know that must hurt you, Brad, but like a lot of people do.
But it's Resident Evil. It's Brad, like that is not what
you used to chastise me for this exact same thing, and I don't necessarily feel that way about it.
I'm saying that's all they talk about. It's like that's the draw. We come here for Jill Valentine.
But
that's
like
crazy.
there was a time when I felt pretty similar to that. Like I was in it for that kind of thing.
No,
for a
but
while.
you're
I used to make fun of me for it all
for
the
the
time.
gameplay. You still wanted a survival horror game. You're very picky about what you want Resident Evil to be. I'm saying it's crazy.
I'm planted very firmly in the opposite camp of you, which is who gives a shit. I certainly give a shit. I don't think it's the be all end all, but like I definitely care.
Then you're
about
not the
that
kind
stuff.
of person I'm talking about. You're just not. Maybe you used to associate with those people, but I'm saying like it's fucking crazy. Like no one's talking about what's the combat gonna be like. They're just talking about we want Jill, not Leon, and
they should bring back that lady from Operation Raccoon City.
No,
remember her?
Let that never.
She was kind of hot.
Remove that from existence. Just
no. Bring them all back, dude. What
the person I'm talking about? It's funny. I'm talking to you and I'm describing Chris Davis. You're saying I'm like Chris Davis. I'm like, you're not like Chris Davis.
You're not a
bring
I can't
back.
Even tell this is a positive or negative context. I don't like this.
You take it how you want, bro.
Bring back Rebecca.
Bring back the chick from Resident Evil 6 that whose name I can't remember, but I was like, I like this chick, but like I hate this game.
Who are the two characters?
It doesn't matter.
Resident
They're
Evil
costumes.
Helena?
They're just costumes.
Costumes are great, Brad. What is the
I know, but
you
get the fucking people are talking about the people like they're more than just costumes is what bothers me. Anyways, also, we're probably maybe going to see on the Sony State of Play a thing that's been rumored and leaked and talked about a little bit. A Greek God of War game.
That's a Metroidvania.
Which now we know.
They've done 3 of those.
Christy. I literally mid-sentence.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's a comma and 2 words after
you're
the
going
comma.
So slow. We gotta go. We gotta go.
We do a 3-hour podcast every week. What are you talking about? We gotta go.
I also wanted to steal your thunder, so there you go.
Okay, fair. At least you're being honest.
I just need one of y'all to finish the sentence.
Try a 2.5D Metroidvania. We're hearing now that this Greek God of War project. When this was,
are you serious?
Earlier this year, Grubb mentioned that like he was speaking again pretty candidly, confidently that this thing existed. We kind of trust his Sony sources, right? He knew about Astrobot and stuff last year.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Oh, there's going to be a Greek." He's been saying temper expectations. He says it's going to happen this year. It is going to be. It's a Greek God of War thing. It is not like a remaster or anything of the existing games. It is a new thing. But he said, kind of, so maybe temper your expectations. And to me, he was suggesting that it wasn't going to be like a big mainline budget or like even maybe an expansion that was like a Greek God of War thing, that maybe it was going to be something slightly different. Now we're hearing that it is a 2.5D Metroidvania.
That's kind of sick.
It does sound sick, but like who's developing, right?
Yes.
Is it Mercury Steam? Why do I keep thinking Mercury Steam? Probably.
Why do they haunt your dreams? They live right.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because they once made a 2.shitty whatever the fuck Castlevania game for the DS, and it just played like
Mirror
it was
of
like
Fate?
God of War or something. Mirror of Fate was like a God of War game.
But they also made Metroid Dread, which was a pretty sick 2D.
It's true. It's true.
Thing, yeah.
Someone pulled
that
up
was literally a Metroid game.
Someone pulled up an interview of like the director of God of War Ragnarok.
Corey Balrog?
Not Corey Barlog?
Barlog?
No, I don't. Not Barlog.
The other one.
Some other guy. I don't know. Maybe did Barlog actually direct Ragnarok? It was another guy, the other guy high up on that team or whatever. He was being interviewed, and it was a clip, and he was just geeking out about how much he would love like a Metroidvania and how like Symphony of the Night's like his favorite fucking game. And like, so like if it is all led to this, then that makes sense. It makes sense. Could it be cool though? I feel like when you think of God of War, you think of like crazy spectacle and scale and set pieces and stuff. Like, can you capture that in a side-scrolling Metroidvania game? Maybe.
I can
remember.
What's it called? Games?
The 2. Oh God!
Chains of Olympus?
No, the 2.5D Metroid game from way back when that was based on that old fucking like novel. Oh God, what is it called? And they were gonna do a sequel, and it got it was like a old
Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex. Yeah,
that game is cool. That game is cool.
There's some pretty big cinematic moments in that game, and it's a 2.5D.
What about Batman Arkham Blackgate or whatever the fuck?
I was just thinking about Blackgate the other day. That game is
who worked
sick.
on Metroid Prime.
Mm-hmm. That was Rocksteady though, and
that was Armature. Blackgate, right?
Oh, was that?
Yeah, that was
Armature.
Oh,
which was a studio formed by previous retro
studios guys.
Dude, Blackgate was cool. Blackgate was really cool. I wish they had done a sequel to that.
So this is supposed to be like the 30th. No, we're not 30th anniversary. 25th anniversary of God of War at this point, right?
I have no clue.
God, really?
We're somewhere in there.
Right. 2005 sounds right.
I could picture a scenario where they want to do like a throwback title that has like cleaned up visuals of what it looked like for the PS2 and turn that into a Metroidvania.
Well, I mean, this is clearly, if this exists the way in the form that Brad has described, then it is definitely a throwback title to fill the gap between Ragnarok and whatever comes next, and it's supposed to appeal to the people who miss the days of.
I mean, we know we've got it has been long rumored that there's an expansion to Ragnarok somewhere in development, in addition to the next iteration, which is supposedly maybe Egypt.
You can call it a sequel.
Do we know?
You know what's crazy though? Like, there's a lot of Metroidvania elements in modern God of War. There's like puzzle solving, and you get new abilities, and you have access to like areas. It makes sense. It makes sense because at first I was like, "There's too much like spectacle and like bombast and shit in God of War." It's not. You can't. I don't see Kratos like solving a puzzle in a little room, but that's literally all you do in those modern God of War games.
Yeah,
that's all you do. It's a different.
Do we think
God of War?
If this game exists, do we think it's going to be a continuation of the story, or do we think it's going to be a flashback, a throwback?
I think it's going to be a throwback to the era of his life that took place.
Although
in
if it's not, how cool would it be?
I mean, right?
No.
They were
going back.
They were going to take the story forward in that direction.
One way or the other.
To Chains of Olympus and Brother.
Oh,
what was the second PSP one? There was 2 PSP games, both liked. And I think they're both Ready at Dawn, which doesn't exist anymore.
Sad Panda.
Yeah, I don't remember.
What was the multiplayer one?
Ghost of Sparta. Yeah, there it is. Okay. No offense to God of War, but I do feel like we have spent a lot of time talking about this Ghost.
All of a sudden 2.5D, and Nick don't give a shit anymore. They're talking about fucking Silent Hill DLC or some shit.
Dude, it's Gamer Hanukkah. Come on,
Ascension.
I thought that was a big one, but whatever, Nick. Let's hear about Silent Hill DLC.
8 days.
Yes, exactly.
Well, what's going on for the next 8 days?
It's E3 time, bro. It's E3 time. Showcase after showcase after showcase.
Yeah. Crispy doesn't even realize what we're talking about.
I thought E3 was dead.
Also, Switch 2 this week.
I do genuinely think that without the pomp and circumstance of E3, I found it harder to keep feel the hype and the energy until it's
especially because you're at work instead of in LA. I mean, it's still.
I mean, that's true. That is. I mean, you're right. But man, this is until we sat down here, I didn't feel I didn't really feel the energy or the so. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this State of Play tomorrow. What else could be at the State of? Hopefully they're not going to spend much time talking about the games we already know. They've already done a Death Stranding 2. They've already done a Ghost of Yotai presentation. They don't need to devote any time, right?
Oh, they're going.
Ghost of Yotai, they need to, right?
Oh yeah, they have to talk about it.
They did a Ghost coming up.
They did an entire presentation on Ghost of Yotai.
Did
they can do more
Did they do a breakdown of the game? Maybe I didn't watch that.
I don't recall this.
Am I imagining that, or
I think you are,
or maybe they have it scheduled?
There's a trailer, right?
Do you smell toast? Are you okay?
Shut up. Oh yeah. So Jay Hit in chat says Death Stranding 2 has its own presentation on the 8th.
Yeah.
So that's good. Which honestly, because they tend to like spend a lot of time talking about that shit, and we're already here for it.
It comes out at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So they'll have a presentation for that on the 8th.
I think that we might see the next round of content for Astrobot.
You think there's gonna be more? You think there's gonna be more content for Astrobot? I feel
100%.
like that's.
Yeah, that's like also super uninteresting. Sorry,
but that's also like
doing that.
Everyone's game of the year last year, like.
Yeah, and they've been doing updates. They've already been doing updates.
Yeah, but I'm like a full-on hours-long expansion. That's what I'm saying.
Well, if they do that, it'll be like this like sub-minute long trailer that they like. Squeeze
It absolutely should not
things.
be. It should not be.
I don't know. I have less faith than you do in that.
Dude,
we'll see.
Okay, so this is Sony. I wonder if they had marathon content lined up for tomorrow, and I wonder if we're still actually going to see it.
Dude.
Is
it going to be 40 minutes? Is it going to be 40 minutes?
It's 40 minutes.
Is it going to be like 35 minutes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think they do that. I think they just are silent on marathon until after SGF season, and then they do an announcement saying we're pushing it to 25.
26, you mean?
Or 26, yeah.
I don't.
Nick just wants to talk about James Bond. He just wants to talk about James Bond.
No. Actually, I want to know. Do y'all think we could see? Because there's talk about seeing Silent Hill F.
Yeah.
But could
they
that
did a
be at
showcase
Sony
for that recently, though?
And not a showcase. I mean, they did a Silent Hill thing, but like, and we've seen minor updates and stuff, and they've been talking more about it. I mean, you can even pre-order
supposedly
the game at this point.
maybe this year, which seems crazy.
It does, but I feel like if it was going to come out this year, it would have to be either at Sony tomorrow or Game Fest thing on Friday. But I don't know. I'm so eager to see that because like it's a totally different developer. So like I'm not sitting here expecting it to be. I mean, I want it to be. I want it to live up to the quality of the Silent Hill 2 remake, but it's a totally different developer, developed in a totally separate bubble from that developer. So like really, there's almost no connective tissue between those two projects. So like I just don't.
Well, the other piece of Silent Hill stuff that's supposed to happen is the Something of the Wish. They're about to announce DLC for that for the Silent Hill remake.
Born from a Wish.
Born from a Wish. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
DLC that's coming. Dust Golem.
Yeah.
Born from Wish for DLC for what? For the
Silent
remake?
Hill 2.
Yeah,
Silent Hill remake.
Yeah.
I'll take some DLC for Silent Hill 2 remake.
Also,
what else we got?
James Bond.
Do you think that's tomorrow, or do you think that's on Friday?
No, IO Interactive has its own showcase.
I'm just talking about like this, all of Hanukkah.
IO Interactive has their own showcase on Friday, and they're going to be talking about that and the other games that they're publishing.
Well, what do we want this to look like? What do we expect it to look like?
I think
is it Hitman?
Nick, I'm going to give you some like conditions here, some limits.
I need
You're
you to
not allowed to say Bloodstone or refer to any existing fucking James Bond game.
Okay, then I'm gonna just Uno reverse that on you and say you can't sit here and tell me you just want it to be Hitman James Bond.
Hitman James Bond.
But it's made by the people who made Hitman.
I know.
Isn't Hitman James Bond just like a less fun Hitman?
No, Hitman with James Bond is Hitman with sick gadgets.
No, it's not. Not nowadays. It might have been 20 years ago, but it's not
but they're
anymore.
making this is their own thing. They're not using like the likeness from any existing James Bond. It's not gonna be one of those tragically if it's overrated.
Oh man,
James
what
Bond
if it's
games?
like Cold War era James Bond? What if they really go for it? What if
Okay,
they like make James Bond what it should
gadgets
be,
wouldn't be as
and
cool.
have him like going against Russians during the Cold War? And
You have my attention, Crispy.
I mean, I would dig that. Look.
I don't care about this.
Here's the only thing I want to say. I know y'all love Hitman. I know y'all love Hitman so much.
From Russia
I love James. Yeah. I love James Bond so much. I am scared that they're going to turn James Bond into Hitman, and I'm not going to do it.
Here's the thing. Nick. Here's why you're so fucking wrong. That is, Hitman is good. James Bond games are bad. What the fuck do you want this to be? If not like kind of like Hitman, at least.
If they can make the Hitman formula something that gels with me, that I enjoy, then sure. But like, I've tried to play Hitman like 5 times, and every single time I bounced off.
You'll get over it if it's James Bond, and you'll just finally grow up and play it. Look, I'm telling you, I
don't think I will.
What is your vision of like? What is your ideal James Bond game?
I don't have a vision. I just don't want them.
Level, you know?
No,
like...
listen, motherfucker. I don't have a vision for this. I just know that I'll be disappointed if it turns out that it just looks like a reskin of Hitman with James Bond. That's what I know. I don't want it to be Bloodstone. I don't want it to be
that. That's insulting, but like, you're worried that James Bond is going to be able to like spin in place or whatever and look silly.
I'm saying this studio has a formula that they've been relying on very heavily for a long time with one particular franchise. I'm scared they're just going to copy paste that formula.
Okay, first of all, that's insulting to IO Interactive. You know, IO Interactive has done more than just Hitman.
But Brad, pretend switch shoes with me for a second, because we've been in this opposition one, right? Where it's a series
my feet would not fit in your tiny shoes.
No, it's a series that I love and adore, and you don't really give two shits about. And it's by a studio
you would be sitting, you love it.
But you would be sitting here saying the same shit if it wasn't IO Interactive. You'd be like, look at what else the studio has done. They're just gonna do that again, and it's gonna, like, you would be saying that till the cows come home. I'm saying if the roles were reversed and it was a series that it was a studio who made a series that I care about, that you don't really like, that was now working on a franchise that you would be telling me to look at all the other games.
But see, the thing is, you don't dislike Hitman. You respect Hitman. You are glad that people enjoy Hitman. You just have not given like a fair shake to Hitman or whatever, or
that's bullshit.
Gotten over the hump. No,
listen, that's bullshit, dude. I've played like 20 to 30 hours of Hitman collectively over the past 12 years or whatever, and it just ends up like, I respect it. I do respect it, but I get so frustrated playing that game that I just can't enjoy it. And James Bond has been out of the gaming sphere for so long that to see it finally come back, and suddenly there's this chance that I might be kind of like iced out of it because I just don't gel with the studio's style is scary.
You'll be pogging, man. You'll be pogging hard.
I fucking hope that it's great. I just hope that I don't immediately feel Hitman.
Dude, now I'm hoping that it looks so much like Hitman. Like, he even has a red tie. It's just Agent 47 with a toupee. That'd be so fucking funny.
I think the compromise here is that it is very much like Hitman in terms of infiltration and locations and stuff like that, but it's much better combat. Because let's be clear, Hitman combat has never been good.
I'm not worried about combat. I'm worried about just the frustrating nature. For me, it was always about just endless trial and error and just being sucked out of the experience. And for me, I want to be immersed in, like, it's a James Bond thing. I want to be immersed in like the world of James Bond. And when I was playing Hitman, I wanted to play and feel like I was immersed in the world of Hitman, and I kept getting sucked out of it because it was just constantly feeling like I fucked everything up.
We're hung up on your little. Here's the thing. Chris Davis, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong, because much better combat, because I want to be fighting waves of dudes as James Bond. No,
I don't want that.
The thing is, Hitman already is the perfect template for a James Bond game.
It is.
It's already perfect. It just needs the paint job that you appreciate, Nick. You'll get into it. I'm telling you.
It does not. It, like, God damn it. You're sitting here not listening to the words coming out of my mouth, and you're basically telling me that what I'm feeling is bullshit.
No.
All right. You know, I do kind of agree that, like, if you think about a James Bond movie and you think about like the really cool parts of those movies, like when James Bond is like in it, like what's going on, it's like driving cars and getting into like shootouts and stuff. It's something that's very not Hitman. And I get the logic behind using Hitman as a template for a James Bond game. That is kind of the stuff he should be doing. That is kind of the stuff that
you're talking about like Mission Impossible or something. Like, I feel like the action that James Bond gets into, and even like the modern ones, is like pretty short bursts of action. Mm-hmm. It's still a lot of like intrigue, and like it's still like a
look at GoldenEye. Like, look at GoldenEye, man.
Look,
everything in that movie is like an action set piece. There's like maybe a Daniel Craig, like maybe like Casino Royale is more like a Hitman game where like you Like there's a 30-minute scene of them just sitting around playing poker. Like,
but like, okay, so like there have been Hitman games that have been more like cinematic. Remember the run from the helicopter and Hitman Absolution,
the
stuff that like made me
Hitman?
crash out. Maybe that's more what you want.
That's
something
what
a little more
linear. Absolution either.
Be that game.
You played
I didn't
Absolution?
like I played Absolution and I quit after like 3 missions. I couldn't stand it. Like,
I mean, it was
all
rough.
I'm saying
That's
is here. All I'm saying, but I've had that same experience with like almost every Hitman game I've ever played. I'm saying I love James Bond. I respect the hell out of IO Interactive. I just know their games, speaking, have not been for me. So this is a scary prospect.
Mini Ninjas didn't do it.
The most exciting thing the most exciting idea I've heard come up has been what Crispy talked about, like seeing something totally out of left field, like going like Cold War era James Bond, like a time
Freedom Fighters,
like a period
dude.
piece.
Freedom Fighters, alternate reality.
Freedom Fighters, man.
Yeah, I don't think
Kane and Lynch, bro.
I don't
Interactive can't do IO. Yeah. Yes.
I think IO Interactive is capable of doing something that's not Hitman. I just hope this is one of those games. I'm worried
we're not talking about Remedy. Like they can make different games. They can make games that are different from one another. But
well, I think the thing you have to think about is that IO Interactive, they bought their independence. They have been very careful over the past 5 years to make games within their means. And I think that they can't necessarily divert too far without betting the house on it.
See, that's the shit I don't want to fucking hear.
Crispy, can you hold up that Dutch Bros cup? What the fuck was in that? That is, you should not drink anything that large from Dutch Bros. What the fuck?
It's the nitro cold brew with no cream, no sweetener, no flavor.
That just means there's more caffeine in it.
That's a lot.
I got to get through this bullshit.
Okay, but that's like
so true
for 4 days amount of coffee. Okay, whatever.
That's so true.
No, I'll go poop it out after the show. I'll be fine.
All right, we can move on. Look, I'm just a little nervous. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about it next week.
I want to talk about Hitman without you crashing out about having to reload in Hitman, though. Or talk about James Bond without having this part of the conversation again, because I feel like it happens too much.
Then
what do you want that you don't like Hitman, about? But like you are in the vast minority of people, and like if it is Hitman-esque, let us be excited. Let the Hitman fans be a little excited.
Be excited. I'm telling you how. I'm telling you where.
I know. I just don't want the conversation to be about how many times you have to reload in Hitman, because
you're the one who brought that up.
I'm not like a huge James Bond like franchise person, but like I like. Honestly, like something that's kind of Hitman, but maybe a little bit different is very exciting to me. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
The only concerning thing I have about the IO showcase is that they're showing off their publishing things, and what are they publishing this year? Mind's Eye.
Oh shit! They're publishing Mind's Eye.
Yeah,
I heard that might be like a scam game.
Look, everything I read further about Mind's Eye just makes it so much worse.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to drag us back into this, but like I feel like I'm being called out in chat now at this point. Like, what the fuck do you expect me to talk about when it's James Bond being developed by IO Interactive? Like, should I just shut my fucking mouth and not talk about it?
No. I'm just saying, if your nightmare comes true, it's going to be a dream for the rest of us. So you got to let us be happy before you crash out.
But that's fine. But then when I like end up playing it and not liking it,
I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is like the best opportunity for you to learn how to appreciate something that maybe you didn't in the past.
I promise you, I will play this game.
Yeah.
Whether it looks like Hitman or not. But
that is kind of like why I think everything's going to be okay. But because at the end of the day, you're going to play it no matter what.
But
so we're all going to win.
But I have never made it very far into an IO Interactive. So like,
I think we all just want you to enjoy the game, and we're hoping that you are not getting too bogged down by Hitman.
I'm just telling you, we're on the verge of seeing this reveal, and now I'm nervous. That's all I'm saying.
You should be. You should always be nervous, Nick. You should carry your anxiety like a weight around your shoulders. And I'm not even joking. Don't trust corporate entities, Nick. They will lie to you and steal your money.
Is my audio cutting in and out? Somebody said my audio.
It's been happening a little bit every now and then. It's not that bad.
Well, I still don't want it to happen.
I mean, I agree, but we'll work on that.
The universe is just trying to get in your head, Nick. He's just trying to get in your head.
Yeah. Well, we'll work on it after the break. So I've got the schedule here for Summer Games Fest. So
for
we
Hanukkah, for gaming Hanukkah.
Sure. Okay. So Summer Games Fest is on Friday. For us, it's going to be at 4:00 Central Time.
Great.
I'd like to try to stream that, so I will be
at work.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I will not be. I'll be home. So, after that, we've got the Devs, followed by the IO Interactive Showcase. Saturday, we've got the Wholesome Direct, Women-Led Games, Latin American Games Showcase, Southeast Asian Games Showcase, Future Games Show, Green Games Showcase, and the Frosty Game Fest, all in one day.
That's a lot.
What are half of those?
Isn't the
just a bunch of indie games?
Isn't the Future Games Showcase? Isn't that like always like 4 hours long or some bullshit?
3 or 4 hours, yeah.
It's all exhausting. They just all jump on this week to show off indie games, and that's fine. It's whatever, man. Whatever.
I hate to say it, but I never watched those shows on that day live because they're
just we know.
That's
why we have trailer talk. That's why we have trailer talk.
Yeah,
I catch the highlights.
And then on Sunday, we've got a combination of the Xbox Showcase and the Outer Worlds 2 Direct.
I will be here to...
So Outer Worlds 2 Direct.
That's a question weird. I have.
Who cares?
It's weird. Like, they don't have much if that's what they're... Because for the past recent years, they've been following with like a showcase, like a game-specific showcase like Starfield or whatever. I feel like Outer Worlds 2 doesn't really pop in the same way, but whatever.
Well, also, like, I'm wondering, like, do they have necessarily a lot to show or give us any information? Because, like, they just came out with Avowed. Like, is Obsidian big enough to handle those two projects simultaneously?
Yes, 1,000% yes. They've been coming out with games constantly over the years. Of course, they have. It's not the same team.
Well, what was
they announced Outer Worlds 2 before we even saw like anything but that very first teaser of Avowed. Yeah. Like in that same year, they announced Outer Worlds 2.
My question is, what did they release between Avowed and the original Outer Worlds?
They've already like a ton of shit.
They did Pentiment. I remember that.
They did Pentiment. They did the fucking Grounded. Remember Grounded?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They did multiple Pillars of Eternity games.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Dude, that team is.
I forgot about it.
Very prolific.
Yeah.
That's studio.
But it is like they have shown a bunch of Outer Worlds too at this point. I think
they have
right?
Grounded, the Outer Worlds.
I mean, I will say this: I'm not currently at my hype level for Outer Worlds 2 is pretty low at this point.
Oh hell yeah, brother!
So
I'm more curious about the In Exile game. I hope that ends up
Clockwork Revolution.
Yeah, hopefully that's good.
I don't think we're going to see that until next year. Like that was announced like 3 years ago, and they said that's coming when it's done.
Usually I'm pretty excited for the Xbox showcase because the past few years they've been kind of popping off, but like Microsoft's been having so many problems and laying off so many people. And like I'm just like, I know, but like,
did you hear about the thing that happened today?
I mean, like Perfect Dark and Fable are two prime examples. Like Perfect Dark is probably like 4 years away at this point.
Oh no, that's probably next year. I think.
You think Perfect Dark is next year?
I thought it was 4 years away. It would have been canceled.
Yeah, it's next year at the latest.
And Fable is that game that we've been waiting to see like a detailed look at. I know we got
next year though.
We got a trailer last year. I finally got a trailer for Fable last year. This year has to be the year they actually like deep dive on Fable. But if that was the case, I feel like that would be the game they'd be like focusing on after the like instead of Outer Worlds.
Like
2.
it probably could be like a dedicated fall or January direct. I think. Bethesda. Yeah, it's.
Remember, this is Fable. I mean, sorry, this is Outer Worlds is Fallout in space. Okay, like Outer Worlds sold a lot. It's a big deal for them.
I know. I'm not saying it's not deserving of it. I'm just saying on a personal level, like it's not like lighting it's not like lighting a fire under me, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll eat my words on Sunday.
Yeah. Other rumors that have been going around. There's maybe a teaser for Final Fantasy VII Part 3. There are some
I don't even know if I care at this point.
There's some light rumors about a modern update to the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy happening.
Shut the front door.
Persona 4 Remake has all been but confirmed.
Yeah.
Wait, which one?
Persona 4 Remake.
Oh, yeah.
Probably going to hear about the new...
What about
No
Final
Man's
Fantasy
Sky?
9 remake?
Splinter Cell Remake?
Splinter Cell Remake, yeah, they're teasing that.
Also,
Tomb Raider reboot?
Worth noting, this is the first year in a long time, maybe that I can remember ever, where Ubisoft didn't do an event.
That's right. I'm seeing that now.
Ubisoft is doing they said they're going to be at these other presentations, but like they are not doing their own dedicated event. Which, you know what, that if they don't have anything of consequence or whatever, that's fine.
Launch year though. No Red Steel 3.
Wasn't there some shit going on?
Zombie
with
U2? Yeah.
There's a lot
getting acquired or like.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's a lot of shit going on with Ubisoft right now, which I guarantee you is playing a role in the fact that they're not doing a presentation this year.
Yeah.
What about 2K stuff like BioShock 4 or Small Axe?
BioShock 4, I think we don't hear about until next year. We might get a little bit on Judas.
Why? Why do you say that?
Can I just say
they want to prioritize Judas first.
Can I just say I might have some information about this. Ask me about that later.
Judas?
Okay, well, is he right or wrong?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
You have it on hand from sources that you cannot disclose?
Potentially I have, but
Okay.
I'm not saying anything on this about it on the stream.
Okay.
What's Joseph Gordon-Levitt up to? Someone in chat, King Carey asks.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 is dead, right? Like that's.
It was never alive, homie.
It was
never alive.
It was.
It looked pretty cool to me.
It was all CG. We might hear about that Prince of Persia project again. I think it's about time for them to start talking about that.
Wait, which one? The Sands of Time remake, or
the Sands of Time remake.
Yeah,
the one that
we're going to hear about all kinds of stuff. Anything spicy is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like we've officially entered the territory of like anything beyond this is like officially grasping a straw.
Will we see Castlevania?
No.
Wouldn't that be cool?
No.
I want to see something cool.
Is there a Castlevania that exists that we're expecting to see, or are you just saying
no? So Castlevania has been like rumored on the wind for like the past couple of years. Something Castlevania related.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just
but
the way they've been handling like Contra and other projects, like you got to kind of worry a little bit. Like,
no, that's not necessarily true, bro. Konami's turning it around. First of all, their collections have been like solid, and their recent efforts have been, hopeful, positive.
By relying on outside studios to work on their franchise.
Well, of course, they're all outside studios. They're in the publishing game now too. Of like, I'm sorry. They're a publisher, but they've been publishing random indie games and stuff too.
I'm going to be talking about a Konami published game tonight, so
that too, and they got that Octopus one coming out too. It's
Octopus.
It's a weird company these days, but we're hopeful. Silent Hill Remake 2 was a win, man.
It was a win, but I don't know if they can. I don't know if like
Silent Hill looks cool.
The Silent Hill 2 remake was such a win, but like there's no singular connective tissue between all of those projects. Like they can't all be Silent Hill 2 remake good. Maybe they can.
Delta Snake Eater though.
Yeah, what about Snake Eater?
What about that Suikoden game that looks cool even though it's mobile?
That's gonna be fucking good.
I didn't want to.
I'm just saying, Konami's doing something, man.
Yeah. Where's Silent Hill Townfall?
At least they're alive.
I mean,
that is true.
This man's drowning in Silent Hill games, and he still wants this other one. Come on, man.
I just want to know more about it.
Yeah,
have a bit of humility.
Like I'm through
playing this dream game remake.
It was a dream game.
New one that game. Silent F is coming and it looks amazing. But
look,
what's this other one about?
Listen. If Silent Hill F comes out and it's a stinker, I won't even care because I got the Silent Hill 2 remake. Like I will be.
You should.
That's all I'm saying.
Care.
I mean, I care, but like I'm also already just used to being burned when it comes to Konami and Silent Hills. Like, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's move on. I think we're, Tomb Raider might be there. I'm always gonna be eyes open.
Did you see
Tomb Raider?
Did you see? So like Amazon's making the TV show, the Tomb Raider TV show. Did you see the?
I don't care.
What? No. Oh God, what's her name from Game of Thrones? Someone help me out. Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. She's Lara Croft. She posted a
really
a photo like a selfie. She's fucking jacked.
Oh wow! At least someone can hit the gym, unlike Abby.
I mean, she doesn't look like a tank necessarily, but she's got like a 6-pack. Yeah, that's for sure.
More like flabby, am I right?
Jesus fucking Christ, Brad.
I'm just saying.
Someone take Brad's microphone away. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're just
defining features were her ridiculous arms. Come on.
When we come back, we're just gonna talk about the games we've been playing, including a game which I'm not gonna lie, Brad, I can't remember the name of because it's very long and weird. What's it called? The game that you're gonna talk about?
Long and weird. Okay,
something
it's Italian
about yo-yo.
For bat. Italian for bat.
Okay, that still doesn't
Italian
answer the question.
for bat and the cursed yo-yo.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Winged. Yeah, Sophie Turner is the name I was trying to think of. Appreciate it. And then Chris Davis has got a couple games, including.
It's like if they did a live action Shrek and he wasn't even green. It doesn't make sense.
What if it was just a live action Shrek and they just got Mike Myers to like it was just Mike Myers, like that was it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Gotta let him go.
Anyways,
why does Shrek have to be green? Like, think about that.
He's an ogre, bro. He's an ogre. All right.
You know, there's a certain population of people out there that are colorblind, right?
She's cut.
All right, cut the tape.
All right, we'll be back in a second, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Joseph, the thing about Ubisoft is that they are in big financial trouble right now. There's a lot of shakeups. There's a big trial going on in France right now with a bunch of former executives, and everything I'm hearing about them with their sexual harassment is
837
terrible. Yes, 837.
Also, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
No, Ubisoft, motherfucker.
Ubisoft. No, Ubisoft.
You see this shit? Oh wait, do you play do you even play do you ever get to Hawaii, Crispy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I like
fucking the travel agency mascot. That's sick. I gotta go back and finish that game though. Fuck.
You should. Fuck. But take your time.
I mean, it took me like 2 years to finish 7, so I'm not worried about it. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
You got time.
It was worth it. That's
all we have is time, Chris Davis. What are you talking about?
It was fucking. Oh my god! Going back and starting 7 with Nick again and watching all of this stuff and just being like,
there's supposed to be a big Yakuza announcement coming up.
Well, would it be Yakuza or would they be talking about Virtua Fighter?
Both, dude. They have multiple teams.
I don't think we see.
Is Kasuga going to be in the new Virtua Fighter?
You are fucking wrong, dude. They release 2 Yakuza games a year. Okay, they can have another game besides fucking Virtua Fighter.
They got that shit kind of.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
I'm sure they do. I don't want them to go too far into it and get lost.
What?
They've been going too far into it. They just released a pirate video game.
They work in. I mean, they operate in one of like the most brutal fucking work cultures in the first world. Like they're fine. They're gonna make a bunch of games.
Yeah, true. What is there an upcoming event? When is that?
It's not this week.
Oh, this man. Chris Davis.
What?
Come on. I don't think the Yakuza studio can do more than Virtua Fighter is the most insane shit.
No.
Dude.
No.
They've already shown...
Hang on.
Virtua Fighter. Sorry.
Between Virtua Fighter, Project Century, and you're saying 2 potentially other Yakuza games? Like, that's a fucking lot for RGG.
No, it's not, dude. It's not.
You can't just call them RGG. Say the full name.
Ryuga
Gotoku Studios. Yeah.
Like a Dragon Studio.
Nah, Joseph, Division 3 is still in the works. It's just in pre-production.
You know who's
right
also... who has Mina the Hollower? Yacht Club is going to be a SGF as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a date for Mina the Hollower and a tease for... More of a tease. Maybe even a trailer for Shovel Knight 2, which is going to be...
Sean Murray been tweeting a lot lately, but we're going to get the summer update for No Man's Sky pretty soon.
Yeah. Didn't Yacht Club do a direct like in January or February though?
No, they did not.
When did they do it then?
You're talking about one of their Yacht Club Presents or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's that have to do with anything? They're literally on the banner for SGF.
Well, I'm just saying that like I feel like it was a few months ago. And when they were talking about everything, they took like 15 seconds to say, yes, Mina's still in development. They wouldn't say
Gamer Hanukkah. What the fuck are you talking about? They're here.
But they had the world in the palm of their hands at that moment. So
in January, this is Gamer Hanukkah. They're on the SGF fucking Summer Games Fest banner.
Yeah, which could be like a 15-second teaser.
They're on the
What
banners.
are you trying to tell me right now? What are you telling me? What is your stance here? Tell me your stance. They have something in January, so they can't be here except they are here? What are you telling me?
All I remember from that Yacht Club Direct that was, again, I don't remember, but it was earlier this year. Like they spoke about Mina for like 15 seconds, and they gave no indication that we would hear anything for the rest of the year.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Did they say we're not going to hear anything about Mina for the rest of the year? Last July, they did a Yacht Club Presents where they showed off quite a bit of Mina, and they said,
yeah,
in the coming months, we will be polishing and balancing the game. Stay tuned. That was last July. It is Summer Games Fest. We know they're going to be there. Why are you peeing in my Cheerios?
You're being refractory.
I'm not trying to pee in your Cheerios, man.
But it doesn't even make sense. They're going to be there. They're on a banner. If they had 15 seconds to say something, they would not be on an official Jeff Keighley banner.
He's being refractory.
Look, more power to them in every way possible. I want the best for them.
The narrative thread you're painting is
I just want confirmation.
So we're not calling it. We're not calling
confirmation
it
of what
E3 anymore.
No, we're officially calling it Gamer Hanukkah.
Gamer Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights.
Yeah,
Key 3 is pretty good though. Still, Key 3 classic.
Key
the
3
Festival of DS Lights. Man, if only the DS Lite was still a thing.
Wait, it
Festival of.
It's not Summer Games Fest. It's Summer Game Fest.
Is it? I wasn't even sure.
Jeff Keighley's a dick.
How long is Ramadan?
If you scroll down, you go to Summer Game Fest and you scroll down, it says partners. SGF 2025 partners. Right on there, next to fucking Techland and Supermassive Games and Square Enix and Sega and PlayStation. They have Yacht Club Games, bro.
He walked away, but aren't we like Twitch partners?
We are.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, I'm just saying. Like, do you think that we're
No, well, there's like
in a real partner relationship with Twitch?
No, there's just 30 games on here with like Bandai Namco and Devolver and Blumhouse Games and
I'm saying
Amazon
the word
Games and CD Projekt
nothing.
Red. I just don't know what he's talking about.
The man's
crazy.
got a
It's
point.
actually he says crazy things sometimes, but I'm
No,
like,
I
I
know.
don't even understand it.
No.
I was on the debate team. I get taking a stance that you don't actually care about, but that doesn't make any sense.
To be fair, I think
he's manifesting. He's manifesting.
Let him cook or something.
Let him cook.
It's not cooking.
Let him simmer.
He's throwing random ingredients around the kitchen.
Let him boil. You can't burn it if you boil it.
Persona 4 remake we know is real. It's someone said it was a voice actor who was just pissed off he's not in it. We find out about so many games through pissed off voice actors. It's hilarious.
A lot of voice actors are pissed off a lot these days.
Yeah.
Probably all the AI stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Just let me have my Mina the Hollower. There is a Mina the Hollower plush that they made for Kickstarter backers, and it's so good. And if I don't get one, I'm gonna be so. I've not even played this game, but that plush is so good.
What? How?
I'll show
In
you.
what way?
I'll show you.
Oh,
And you're gonna go.
I don't believe you.
Oh yeah, check this.
Well,
out.
I just I mean I don't a plush. There's few times in my life where I've looked at a plush and been like, oh, that's rich.
Okay, how about let's see, how do I do this? Guess I'll just save the image or something. Fucking desktops are weird.
Although I say that, and then the other day I saw a plush of Chimera Fallon from Dungeon Meshi, and I was like, that's sick. I want that.
Weird.
Also, Mina the Hollower.
Hold on, let me post my plush. Is this one?
Not yours yet.
Mouse game. Yeah, mouse game.
Why is this not working? All right, here we go. Oh, here it is. I'm posting the meetings channel. Look at this. What is this? What's a .jfif? What is that?
A GIF?
What did I post?
What is a GIF?
You just got infected with a virus.
I've never heard of a GIF.
That is wild.
That book is part of it, by the way. So.
Oh, that is pretty cute. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Where was this posted? In the gaming channel?
Meetings channel.
I'm not really much of a furry myself, but
it's so funny.
I can see
that. It's so funny you say that.
Is. I'm not
because that's going to come up later.
Why?
What?
Because I've been playing Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo.
Oh,
all right, are y'all ready?
Another one of your furry games?
I think if it was more furry friendly, then it'd be more successful than it is.
Yeah, you can't scorn the furries. You need them, like it or not.
Well, I talked to a few furries in our community about the design of Pipistrello.
We have furries in our community. Excuse me,
bro. They're not in hiding.
Crispy
this is no longer a
they have avatars and animals in their names.
I'm glad I got a clean cut of that.
That is so funny. Excuse me?
We probably have more than that, but I mean, there's some that are just straight up
numbered
animals in their names and cartoon animals in their avatar.
Are y'all ready to start?
I am recording.
New recording. Hang on.
All right, I am recording. Waiting on Chris Davis.
I'm recording.
I am recording.
All right, roll call starts now. Brad.
Hello.
Crispy.
Hello.
Chris Davis.
Hello, I am speaking into the microphone.
All right. Welcome back. Brad, you were saying something about furries or something during the break? Does that have
yeah. Anyways, yeah, furries.
Is that a good segue into your game?
So,
I don't know.
we were talking a little bit about Mina the Hollower before the break. Chris Davis's unhinged opinion, whatever. Mina the Hollower, Shovel Knight, whatever. Mina the Hollower is the upcoming throwback. Like it's like a top-down Zelda, but with sick-ass movement. You've seen Mina the Hollower. It looks incredible. It's the follow-up to Shovel Knight from the creators of Shovel Knight, and it's going to be
in a Game Boy color art style. Yeah, it's great.
Yes. Well, I've been playing Pipistrello in the Cursed Yo-Yo. Pipistrello is no mouse, but he is a mouse with wings, aka in a bat. And I've been calling this game Mina at Home because it is like it's a game that just looks a lot like Mina the Hollower, but they beat Mina the Hollower, so what are you gonna do?
They beat Mina the Hollower to like release. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So this game has been on my radar for a little while. I've been eyeing it. I actually picked this up in my Fantasy Critic Discord Super League. It's on my roster because I saw a trailer for this sometime last year, and I was like, "Yo, that's sick." And I saw more trailers, and I was like, "Yo,
that's still sick."
But like maybe actually even better." And so it's come out, and I have played like over 20 hours of this game, and it came out last week. But I mean, granted, my family had COVID, and I've just been like in a room doing nothing. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of games. I guess I usually don't play that many games in a week, I suppose. But it'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes.
So this is a isometric Zelda type game. You play as a bat. He has a yo-yo. But the thing about, and it is a lot like Mina the Hollower. And when I say it's a lot like Mina the Hollower, it is also like, I think very like movement, like driven. Like you have a lot of, so you have a yo-yo, and all your abilities and movement abilities and exploration abilities, combat abilities are all tied to your yo-yo. So you're like, one of the ways you get around is like doing the walk the dog movement, and you can actually like go over like water and like acid. Yeah, you can go over what the fuck am I trying to say? Liquids that are on the ground, puddles and stuff, while riding your yo-yo. And if you stop riding your yo-yo, you'll sink and you'll fall out like you would in an old school Zelda game, right? And
I'm trying to figure out how you ride a yo-yo.
Yeah, well, it's a fucking cartoon bat. What do you want from me, dude? You ride the yo-yo, you walk the dog. Look at the fucking footage. I'm doing it a bunch. It's an isometric Zelda game. It's also channeling like the Game Boy Advance, so much so that you could even like zoom all the way out and you're playing the game on like a 3D model of a handheld, and like the buttons are moving like and the sticks are moving like you would. It's actually a really cool feature, which I don't show in this footage, but I am just showing the game. The unique twist, I think, on Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, outside of the fact that, you're a bat with a cool yo-yo that does cool yo-yo abilities. And it's that it's a Zelda game that takes place entirely in a single city. And it's a really unique setting for this type of game. Because like the dungeons are just like the first dungeon is just the mall. But it is just a Zelda dungeon, but it's just a cool, unique setting for, a Zelda-like game. Usually they're just out in like the woods and stuff, and there's like rivers and streams and caves. But here, the caves where you go in to like do a puzzle is just like someone's house. Like the houses you come across that you just walk into, little tiny shops, they're just like little one-off puzzles where you can get like the equivalent of like a heart piece or something, which again, super cool. You're constantly like in the streets, like dodging traffic, and traffic will actually do a lot of like damage to you. So you have to like get out the fucking way. They're not just there. They're just as much of an enemy as anything else, right? They're like an obstacle that is trying to kill you because you're walking on the street, right? It's just a really cool setting for this type of game. I don't know. Should I spoil the dungeons? I'm going to spoil the dungeons. I want people to play this game.
Can you spoil like one dungeon and not all of them?
No, I'm going to spoil a couple. Listen, here's the thing. Here's what I need to convey right now. This game is fucking amazing, and I'm probably almost done with it. I've been playing for more than 20 hours, but like they cooked with this one. I've been calling this Mina at home, but no, this is a really cool, good ass video game. One of the reasons it's cool is because of that setting. Do I spoil the dungeons? So like I got to one portion of like the city, which was one portion of the city, and there was like an outdoor like a music festival going on, right? And like the entire part of that city, there was like big long lines of people lined up for this music festival. And like sort of like the bigger puzzle of navigating that part of the city was like going down into the sewers and popping back up to try to get around this line of people. And eventually you get access to the dungeon, and the dungeon in that part of the city is like a music festival, like fucking ACL. And it's just cool. It's because it takes place in the city. There's like really unique dungeon designs. I'm in a dungeon now. Yeah, I'm in a dungeon now that is a sports stadium. And everything from the enemy designs to like is like themed around the idea of, I'm in a stadium and that is my Zelda dungeon. And you're in those, for the amount of time that setting for this style of game. What?
Sorry, you cut out for like 3 seconds.
Cut out for a second.
Yeah, it's just a really, really cool setting for this type of game. But like, so like the setting is a strength. The other part is that, like I said, these movement abilities, like you have like really cool abilities and like to get around where you're like bouncing off walls and then switching to like walk the dog to go over like some water and then bouncing off of that over a pit. And, stringing these cool yo-yo abilities together it's like, I've never seen platforming this good in a isometric Zelda type game. Like you just don't see good platforming in these games, like the kinds of Zelda game that it's evoking are like the like the Game Boy Color Zelda games, right? Like ages and seasons, right? And in those games, those come from like the Game Boy era where you get the Rock's Feather and now you can jump a little bit. Here, you're doing like crazy. Like I'm trying to think of a game that has like crazy movement tech, but for them pulling off crazy like movement tech platforming in this game and like really challenging stuff like that's the other part of it, right? The platforming is awesome, the puzzles are awesome, the combat's awesome, and it's all like just hard enough. This feels like a very like well-tuned game that's kind of pushing you in all aspects. All aspects feel well designed. Like the level design's really great, the dungeon design's great, the puzzle design's great. Again, this movement tech and the combat is just challenging and like good and creative enough that like it's really pushing the player. Like this game can be really difficult at times, and this is all backed around this this system of you go into debt buying upgrades from the upgrade tree. Like the whole thing is like you're part of the Pipistrello family and your aunt like runs the city and all the people who like work for her are like trying to kill her now, and you're trying to like stop them even though you're kind of like you're just a fucking rich kid who wants to become the world's greatest yo-yoer, but now you're actually trying to save the city and your aunt has been turned into a bat. And a lot of it's kind of like like it's like money, like debt. It makes sense that you go into debt in the upgrade tree is what I'm trying to say. It's like a pretty unique story as well, even though it's kind of absurd. Anyways, do you remember from A Link Between Worlds how you can like borrow items?
You can rent them?
You can rent items, right?
Yeah.
But like ultimately, and if you died, you had to return.
I feel like we didn't like that system though.
Well, because the game was too easy.
It was
right?
It was too easy for that to
there was no tension to borrowing an item because you weren't gonna fucking die anyways because it was too easy. I remember I never died once in A Link Between Worlds. A brilliant game that had a single flaw of being way too easy. This game sort of takes that idea. It's probably inspired by that, where if like all of your upgrades in the upgrade tree, they won't give them to you. You can't buy them. You literally have to go into debt to obtain them. So, and the way you go into debt, like you literally, until you pay off your debt, you don't get the upgrade. But while you are in debt, you take like a hit to like some stat. They're like, you owe $1,000 on this, and until you pay it off, you're gonna have like -2 hit points and like -2 attack power. So good luck, motherfucker. And until then, every time you get money, you like half of it goes into your pocket and half of it goes to like paying off this debt for that.
Oh,
upgrade.
like real life.
It's a pretty cool system because every time you die,
they garnish your wages.
Every time you die, you lose, you kind of like Shovel Knight where you're like losing a little bit of cash, but you're never losing the cash that they're garnishing, right? So you could die over and over again losing money, but it's okay because every time you earn money, half of it is going to that debt that you're not, funny enough, right? The debt doesn't go away. I mean, the payments that you made to the bank don't go away. Those stick. But it's like a pretty clever way of doing it because this is a very like open-ended like Zelda type game. You could take the dungeons and like maybe the order you want and like get upgrades as you're exploring and trying to get 100% because the game is pushing you enough, you really want to get the upgrades, right? It's like, oh, this is pretty difficult. I really want to be able to like equip more of these badges, like Hollow Knight style badges. I want to get more like these health upgrades and stuff because it can be kind of difficult. But then when you have to go into like stat debt to like before you pay off these upgrades that you're buying, it's like a pretty clever, it's an effective way of what they were trying to accomplish in A Link Between Worlds, I think, where you're like, this really kind of fucks me, but I really want this upgrade. But for the next like hour or so until I pay this off, things are gonna kind of fucking suck, and it's gonna get hard and it's gonna get annoying. But like, what's cool about that is like they managed to make the game. Like you never like this happens in like Metroid games, it happens in Zelda games where eventually you just start steamrolling the thing. You've gotten too many upgrades, you've gotten too powerful that everything is like trash mobs. I mean, you're just really you get really powerful in those games, you start to feel like a god, right? Like this game, no matter how many of those upgrades and stuff you find, because you're always trying to pay off an upgrade, you're always in debt. They're always finding a new way to fuck over your stats. And the further you go down the upgrade tree, the harsher the penalties are until you pay off an upgrade. So I'm really far in the game, but because I have like half my attack damage that I normally would, I have to I'm going to be pretty weak for a little while. And it's nice to feel that way even like towards the end of the game. Like it's clever, right? Because you'll get to a boss fight, right? And you'll be like, oh man, the boss fights can be hard. And it's like, I have paid off this much of my debt, right? And like, I'm almost done paying it off, but I really need to fight this boss. Do I go out into the world and try to like pay it off by doing things and like earning money and exploring before I fight this boss? Or do I fight this boss while I'm nerfed because I'm in debt? Because at the end of the boss fight, you can hit the boss a bunch and get a lot of money at the end of the fight. But that money is only going to apply to an upgrade if you go into the boss fight while you're currently in debt. Otherwise, all that money is just going into your pocket and they won't let you buy an upgrade with that money. Does that make any sense? Like you can't pay for an upgrade unless they're garnishing your wages, and they're only garnishing your wages if you've taken like a big debuff to like one of your stats. So like I've been in boss fights where like this would be a lot easier if I just because you can say, you know what, fuck that, I'm not buying that upgrade anymore, just give me all my money back, I got to go fight this boss because I need to be stronger now. But if you do that, all the money you spent towards that upgrade, you have to start over, and which means all the money you're going to get at the end of the boss fight can't apply towards that. It's like a really clever way to like force you into these situations where you're fighting bosses that you're probably not strong enough to beat, but if you just do it enough times, then I'm gonna get this sweet fucking.
I feel like this game is trying
clever.
to teach you some actual real life lessons here.
Well, I mean, the story is
kind
of all about that shit too. It's like weirdly a lot about like, is your aunt like maybe a bad person, but like the whole system's kind of fucked. All these people are bad. They're yeah. The Pipistrello family is running this series, and you're just like the nephew who's really into yo-yos. But like also everybody's bad, and I think maybe what they're trying to say is that like when you're at this level, everyone's terrible. I don't know.
You can't accumulate this much wealth and still be a moral person.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's all this to say, this is like an incredibly polished, like a complete, like they nailed every aspect of this game. This is, if you like old school Zelda games or Metroidvanias, I think this is a must play. Like everything about it is like top tier. Like it is one of the better games out there.
We do like all of those things here.
It'll be a crime if this thing goes ignored, and it is kind of going ignored. But like I've been so impressed with this game. I went into like the Yacht Club Discord, into the Mina the Hollower channel, and I'm like, y'all, I know y'all are excited for Mina the Hollower, and I know it's gonna sell millions or whatever, just like Shovel Knight. Y'all need to check out this Mina at Home game, because you can't say that you're excited for Mina the Hollower and then look at this and not be like, okay, this looks cool. And what I was happy to see is that a lot of these Mina fans that are in the Yacht Club Discord every day were like, yo, that does look sick. And people, they have been picking it up and being like, yo, this shit slaps. So I don't know. It's
Brad's
the kind of game where I would
here.
love to see Yacht Club be on social media, be like helping pimp this game, because it's obviously very Mina adjacent. I don't know. It's good. It's really fucking good. And you know, I think some people in our community I've convinced them to pick it up. I know Carlos streamed some of it too, so people have seen how cool this game can be. And
did you happen to get this on Steam?
Yes,
I did.
Fuck yes,
good man.
But I've been playing a lot of it. But the thing is, I'll be done pretty soon. So I highly recommend a great Steam Deck game. Also, like if you're about to pick up like a Switch 2, it's also on Switch. Maybe like I think you when you get a new like system like that, you're kind of looking for like excuses to play it. And this is the perfect game to like download on your Switch 2 when you're done with Mario Kart.
It might be nice for me to have a game to play on my Switch 2 at launch. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, Pipistrello. Just because it's foreign doesn't mean it's weird, Nick.
Now you're just saying I'm like anti-foreign? Like, is that what you're
something?
Yeah,
that's the natural evolution.
Oh, God, it just keeps getting worse. Okay. All right, Chris Davis. I'm handing it over to you. You got a couple games you want to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know where you want to start.
We'll do the smaller thing, the more fun thing, I think, first.
The more fun thing. Okay.
I'm almost done with Deliver at All Costs.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
This is a Konami published little, not indie game, but kind of indie game.
How can you be kind of indie?
Oh, I don't know the exact I don't know who this developer is, but it feels like they're
published. It's published.
An indie Konami that got a publishing deal. Yeah. And
they've been doing this for the past couple of years, actually. It's a little weird.
They're slowly, surely getting little weird titles and publishing them, and
I mean, that's their strategy. This is how they're working their way back into.
It's weird. Someone convinced someone high up at Konami that this is something they should be doing. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if this thing sold all that well, but I kind of like it.
This game is really fun. The basic premise is simple. It's a period piece where you are a delivery driver and you go do odd jobs around town, taking things from point A to point B. The catch with it is that beyond it just being like mainly comedic, what you're doing, everything apart from the terrain is destructible. Like it is remarkable how much you could just destroy by just driving your truck through it.
Just like real life.
I mean, yeah, but it's like this is a game about having the potential to be a sociopath with an unstoppable vehicle, in the funniest way possible. The amount of different little quests that you get to go on, like this one right here. I've asked by the mayor to replace the statue of the town's founder from like the 1600s. Take it up to the volcano to be tossed in there, and then drive it back with a replacement of the current mayor in this gold statue.
Is that what's dragging behind your truck?
Yeah, I'm dragging by slowly the disintegrating remains of this old statue.
Okay,
which
at least
is
it's the old one.
Yeah. And it's
Not the new
procedurally
ones.
breaking as I'm just hitting terrain and cars and buildings and things like that. And this is like the most tame mission in the game. Like there are some missions where you are just there's a mission where you're basically there's a giant ball that you're pulling behind you as you go through a neighborhood, and it is destroying everything because it's all physics.
It's a wrecking ball. You're dragging a wrecking ball.
And so you're smashing into everything, and you've got this happy-go-lucky late 50s music playing, and this lady who's with you complaining about the neighbors and all that. And you look behind your truck, and you see this 10 foot diameter ball just smashing into cars and destroying homes, and it's hilarious. And they really kind of lean into the comedy. Like the second half of this mission, you have to get the statue back from the new statue back from the volcano to the town hall. But there's a gang of seagulls that are just adamant about fucking shitting all over it and destroying it. So as you're like taking it back, like they are dive bombing, and it's like something out of like a World War II video game. Like just they're coming down just
to avoid
carpet bombing.
them?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. You don't want to get it too covered in bird shit. It is so fucking funny. I am smiling constantly as I'm playing this. And at the same time, like there's this kind of mystery going around about the main character, like he's not actually who he says he is, and there's a mystery that's slowly evolving. But it also feels like kind of, you remember that 90s film Falling Down with what's his name?
Yep.
I do not.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah. Where he's just trying to get home and just he's having the worst possible day every single step, every scene he goes. Like that's kind of this game where the protagonist's life is slowly falling apart, and it's just him kind of dealing with it. And every now and then there's this level in which there's narration from like sometime in the future by this forensic pathologist or psychologist who is just diagnosing like what happened this certain day for this character. And it's read so straight, but it is so entertaining. Like what's happening.
It's trying to get you to enjoy someone else's misery. Is that
100%? 100%.
What is going on with this game? I thought this was like a Steam Next Fest darling or something, but like this game,
I don't recall.
I don't think Konami's going to be publishing indies for very long. There's 33 people playing this on Steam right now.
Yeah, like
What the fuck?
It didn't come out like the best time. I don't think it necessarily
Is it a
had
bad
good
time
marketing.
right now?
I don't think it ever time.
What indie game comes out at a good time these days? Unless you're like me.
Unless you're setting the world on fire with indie games these days.
Pipistrello has 125 people playing. Both of these seem like probably not successful. I hate this.
Yeah.
The world, you mean the state of the industry?
Yeah. How do you decide you're going to make it? Okay. It looks very fun. And I thought that like there was a demo for this and people were kind of like excited a little bit about this because it seems silly. But
was there not a demo?
I guess people just want to play fucking Fortnite. There was. I played the demo. I thought it was like people were kind of like,
like
it's cool.
From the first moment of the game in which you get into a car, like it's so many jokes thrown throughout that you're kind of riding with and having so much fun with. And there's also multiple maps in the game. The only real complaint I have so far, and I think I'm like over the hump. I'm over 2/3 of the way through it. I'm on the third map at this point, and the basic big plot things have started to really hit, which kind of makes this story a little bit more compelling. But outside of like the main missions, there really isn't that much to do. Like you can go driving around town like a psychopath and eventually the cops will start coming after you, but all you have to do is go hide in a dumpster, which you can't spit for hitting one, and they'll go away and you can get back to your mayhem.
GTA, this is not.
It is not GTA. But there's like maybe
GTA decided
one
to delay
or
when they saw this game coming.
there's like 1 or 2 side missions max per map, and I feel like that's a gross misuse of the potential of this physics engine of like everything.
How long have you been playing it so far? You say you're about 2/3 of the way through it. Like how?
I'm close to 10 hours. Like it's not a long game. And this also feels like a developer that made the game as best they could, but clearly there's just some spots that people are going to bitch about on face value. But if you think about it, it's actually kind of an accomplishment. Like everything in this game, apart from like one cinematic, is not pre-rendered. It's fully in engine. And so when you go into a building like the We Deliver, and you go into a cinematic, like everything is in engine and it's to the scale of the models zoomed in. And they don't look good on face value. But when you realize that it's in engine and we're just zooming in on the models, that's actually kind of cool. You know? So
I mean, people are judgmental. I don't know.
They're finicky, judgmental bastards. Yeah,
they're not judgmental. They're not even playing.
That's also true.
That is true.
But
Did y'all see that? Sorry, because you were talking about it's like you're 10 hours, so it's not a super long game. Did y'all see the quote from the developers of Clair Obscur? And they were like, "More games are too long these days. They should be short, like Clair Obscur." And I was like,
I played that game for a long time.
That's an 80-hour game to me.
I was like, motherfucker. I was like, 60 hours is nothing to scoff at. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's not short.
Maybe we'll save it for later, but I've also finished Act 3. Maybe I'll say, I don't know. We need to do a spoiler cast or something. But
I would love to do a spoiler cast.
Not happy with the way they handled the final boss. I know y'all know what I'm talking about because y'all experienced it.
I do. I did finish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is really annoying, and I think they should have They should have handled it differently. I really think they should have handled it differently. But whatever. I don't know.
Maybe we'll find a way to talk about that later.
4-player minute or something. If you remind me, I'll go into more details.
If I remind you, okay. Well,
yeah, but this
sounds good.
Deliver at all costs is really fun. I think
it was free on the Epic Game Store.
It was free on the Epic Game Store. It's $30 on Steam. I think that's a little overpriced. I think it should be $25 or $20.
That might be part of the problem.
I think that's the other thing.
It's a big ask.
The problem is no one knows this game exists if 33 people are playing.
I mean, the problem is oversaturation combined with maybe not the right price point. So
everyone's playing deck builders and shit. I don't know what's going on. They're all playing Fortnite, and
you're part of the problem.
What are you talking about?
Damn,
you just said everyone's playing deck builders. Bitch, you were talking about Monster Hunter 2 last week. Or sorry, Monster Train 2.
Yeah, and then I still bought this game. I still bought Pipistrello. I bought it. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, you're part of the problem.
I played
I'm not the problem.
Deck builders. What's up, Crispy?
I was just saying, you reminded me. I forgot to mention it earlier, but I played a bunch of Monster Train since last week.
Yeah.
Crispy's part of the problem.
Me too. I've put in a lot of time. It's very addictive.
I was a hater, but it's pretty good.
You were a hater? What were you hating on Monster Train for?
I wasn't hating on it, but I was very like, eh. Like it just looked lame. But it's not lame. I mean it's not lame. Wait, we talked about it. We talked about it last week.
We did talk about it last week. In fact,
it's sick. I didn't know if it was good, and then I played it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the sauce.
Well, there's thousands of people playing Monster Train too, so they don't have to worry about that one.
Well, anyway, like, give this game a shot. Give it like an hour or so. Like, if the first joke of driving around doesn't hit you, I don't think anything in this game will. But
I played the demo. I was actually a little annoyed.
Is the demo still available?
Down. I don't know.
That's the question.
Maybe.
Wait,
$30 is not. Is the demo still available?
Maybe.
Probably not.
You don't spend $30 to maybe play a game for. Hope it grabs you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also on our Steam family, so you can play it.
Well, that's us. These fools listening to us, they don't get access to that. But
they could have got it when it was free on Epic. So
we could try it. Anyways,
it'll also go on sale really soon, I bet. So
yeah, for sure.
Did I say that?
You also, God damn it, go ahead.
Pipistrello and the Curse Yo-Yo is at 88 on OpenCritic right now.
Good for it.
That wasn't on anybody's list here, right?
With 24 reviews. Well, on my list and.
I'm not asking about your Super League, the league that you're cheating
but the thing is, my list has been full for quite a while, so I just have to kind of be quiet about games that I don't want y'all to pick up in our league, because so many of you are refusing to bid on games that I don't want to give y'all any dubs, so I just can't talk about sick games.
Brad, I'm fucked. I have no way to challenge you because of GTA. Throw me a bone. Throw me one bone.
I'm worried about Crispy and Ed and the three people who have not bid on a single fucking game, and that we're halfway through this year.
Sorry, dude. My brain has been elsewhere lately.
Dude,
I'm gonna super drop my game this week. I don't know what to tell you.
You're on a video game podcast. You literally, what are you talking about?
The last
you know about
2 weeks,
all kinds of video games.
The last 2 weeks, I've actually been meaning to bid on something, and I keep having the thought just happens to be on Thursday, and then I'm at work, and then it slips my mind, and then all of a sudden Thursday evening saying that bids have closed, and I was like, fuck, I forgot to do it again.
It is Gamer Hanukkah. If there are no bids this week, I will crash out. I will I mean,
Let's do it.
You've given us a goal.
There was even a week, like I was yelling at Carlos that week that we picked up Donkey Kong. He didn't even bid on Donkey Kong, and he had all the money. I got so mad. I won Donkey Kong, and I was still pissed at him because, like, you're not even paying attention during like the Switch 2 reveal where we found out about Donkey Kong. Like, fuck off, dude. I'm just like, and I talked a little bit about it last week, and I am glad that I have some competition finally this year.
You know, I bid on Donkey Kong,
is
right?
Scary. I know everybody did, but Carlos. I know, but literally, that's the only game that y'all have even tried to get this year, and it is June. It is June.
Sorry, man. I'll get there. In fact, I have to, because I have to super drop my game this month. So
don't super drop your game, because you're not going to replace it with anything. You're just going to have 7 empty spots.
Maybe that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Hey, Chris Davis, we
also got to pick up counter. No, listen to me, fucko. It's not just bidding on games. People got to pick up counter picks as well.
I know, Brad.
You get a minus 15 if you don't fill your counter picks.
I am aware of this, Brad. I'm aware. Thank you.
Is Carlos and Nolan aware? And Ed? Oh, I know Ed's been bidding.
I think
Nolan's
distracted.
busy.
Yeah. He's got
Ed's fucking distracted too, but he's still paying attention.
That is true. Touche. They both have new children.
It's not that hard.
I've been playing another game.
New parents, though. They're not.
I have 2 children. We're on a podcast about video games. I'm literally showing you video game trailers every week.
How
do you not go? No. I've been there. It is crazy. You're right. I spend most of my day thinking about and taking care of my stupid family. But listen to me, you motherfucker. We do trailer talk every week. All you have to do is go, oh, this looks cool. Instead of wish list it, just go over to fucking Fantasy Critic and fucking bid on it or something. Please.
Here's the thing. I'm constantly questioning myself in terms of, I feel like I'm making the wrong call.
Okay, whatever. I showed a trailer for Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo 3 months ago, and now it's an 88 on OpenCritic. That's all I'm saying. Touché. And you know what I said when I watched that trailer? Yo, this looks fucking cool.
Chris Davis.
Yes.
You played the demo for Hell Is Us.
I also played that.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, this looks pretty good.
Apparently it's been popping off a little bit, right?
Yeah, the demo is on Steam right now from the 2nd through the 16th, so you can download and play it right now. This is kind of cool. There's some mechanics that I haven't seen in a while in a Souls game coming back here, and I'm liking it. So, this is a sci-fi Soulsian experience. The demo is an hour long. It's just the tutorial dungeon. It gives you a taste of like character interaction and exploring some of the open environments and stuff like that. It is kind of cool.
Is it horror-esque? Like this, like it looks a little. It looks a little spooky.
It's spooky. I wouldn't necessarily say it's horror. It hasn't tried to legitimately scare me, but this is a game that is very vibes based. Like I like
vibes.
Between the sound design, the music, how they set up the environments and the encounters, like it's very just kind of gonna grab you and immerse you in this world thing.
And it looks very like this is that game that every time I see it, I'm like, it looks like Death Stranding for a hot second.
Yes,
just because of the fucking character.
100%. Also the poncho, but yeah. No, the interesting thing that this game is, they're designing it strictly for Nick. I'm going to say it right now. It's designed for Nick. When you start up the demo, and I can
tell me more
I can corroborate this in my experience. It pops up with several warning messages saying, "Hey, there is no map. That we're not going to tell you anything. You have to learn everything organically from conversations and what you find in the environment. We're not going to tell you where to go. We're just going to let you figure it out as you go."
I do like that. Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes.
Yeah. And the only instances of me getting a quote unquote objective is me running into a person. They're telling me about a thing, and then I can go choose to find it somewhere in the world. Like towards the end of the demo, I find this man who is just mourning his wife, who is cradled in his arms, and he is weeping next to a fountain, like a pile of corpses, and he is begging. He's just lamenting that he could not reach her in time and save her.
Like Eastern European. Like who made this game?
I don't know.
Rogue Factor is the studio.
I don't know.
Published by Nacon. Nacon?
Yeah, it's published by Nacon. And he says, "I don't think I could move on without my wife's amulet, but I wasn't able to make it to the village before it got burned down." And so it's just this natural, organic sub-objective that you can go find and bring back to him to help alleviate his grief. But that's the thing, is like there's the way you get into the tutorial dungeon is you find a soldier and he's fucked up, and he says, "Please go find a med kit. If you go through the woods, I've marked the trees to follow the path along to get there." And this feels kind of like an actual forest. Like it feels like a natural trail I'm going through. And yeah, I'm following these marked trees.
You gotta use your eyeballs.
Yeah. The first guy you run into, he says, "Oh, you want to get back to the road where there's this an APC that you can use to drive around? Yeah, go through the woods and follow the wind chimes. I left that for my kids, for them to find their way through the woods." And yeah, you follow the wind chimes, you eventually find your way. There is no way, there is no map, there is no way for the game to tell you otherwise for you to go from point A to point B.
And is the world seamlessly interconnected, or are you going between like loading screens between maps? What is the
It is segmented maps that you traverse via the APC. So the starter dungeon area with the forest, the demo ends with you getting the APC and going to the next map. And you finding yourself on the outskirts of that village.
Gotcha.
The art director for Deus Ex, we met that guy like E3 or something. Remember?
Well, it's the voice actor for Adam Jensen too. Like it's Elias, whatever his name is, the protagonist. Combat wise,
Montreal. That was you. That was Eidos Montreal.
Yeah.
I
know. I remember who you're talking about. Yeah.
This game is developed in Canada, in Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that checks out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is
probably some of those people after that studio guy.
Dude, this does look like my jam.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So in terms of the combat, the cool thing I like about it is besides this gratuitous parry system, where it's a very precise window to pull off a parry, but when it does, it gives you that satisfying like sound effect and visual animation that played off.
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback. This has a Bloodborne-esque kind of like health regeneration system going for it, where it encourages you to attack and counterattack aggressively. And when you do that, a temporary meter pops up on your health bar. And if you press the right button at the right time, based on the visual effect on screen of like these white lights around you, you gain back that portion of health. And since your stamina is it maxes out based on your current health value, it really encourages you to go in aggressively instead of like dodging and trying to block.
So it incentivizes getting good at the parrying.
Well, not necessarily the parrying, just like the counterattacks and going after the enemy, not necessarily letting them have a chance to actually attack you.
Yeah. Cool.
The drone is kind of cool when you find yourself in a situation where you are facing multiple enemies at once. You can use it to distract the other enemy for a set period of time. And there's other mods you can do for the drone that are going to be in the game. I don't know what they are. But there's an encounter I did later in the demo where I was fighting like 5 enemies at once. And I had to rely on the drone. I survived, but it was a cool encounter. But yeah,
this reminds me of what was that other like kind of sci-fi Souls-esque game? It had 2 games that came out a few years ago.
You talking about the Lords of the Fallen developer?
No,
with the mech arms.
Yeah, the mech arm. What's the name of that game? Where you had a mech suit or whatever.
Surge. What?
I don't
Yeah,
know. The Surge.
The Surge.
Right?
Yeah,
the Surge.
That sounds almost right.
Surge?
Something like that.
Yes.
This is giving me Surge vibes a little bit, but I'm saying that purely so much about the gameplay. I remember. I don't know. Whatever. It's giving me those vibes. That's all I'm saying.
It's this is so far pretty cool.
I'm gonna download this demo and play it. So
it's really worth it.
And it's coming out in September, so
yeah. No, that's pretty much it.
And you said you had one quick mention.
Oh yeah, real quick. There was
a twist.
There was a public playtest for a game called Ferocious that's being published by I forget the name.
It don't matter.
It's basically, it wants to be like Far Cry with dinosaurs. It is.
Careful.
This is like the first public playtest of this game. It feels like this game is at least 1.5 years or 2 years out. It is slow. It's considerably janky. The sound design is definitely not finished. It's like the second level of the game.
Oh,
and
I saw something about this game a while back. Yeah, does
like the protagonist doesn't even have like a voice at this point. He just has like subtitles that pop up when he's reacting to certain events. The one kind of interesting thing going for it is that it has this thing called the DCD, which I can only think it stands for Dinosaur Communication Device, in which you get close enough to a dinosaur and you pull out this trinket, you hold a button, and you can analyze the dinosaur's speech patterns and communicate and command them.
What?
So there's a bunch of little ancient temple places where you can command this little bitty like a foot tall dinosaur to go in and pull out a stick, and it opens the door for you. And later on in the demo, there's a sequence where you actually can command a Triceratops to attack a bunch of enemies. It's things like that. I like what they wanted. I think they want to do with this game. They shouldn't have done the playtest at this point. This game needs at least another year of development. They need to rework all the sound design because they've got good ideas, but it's so imbalanced. I don't know, man. And so canned.
Far Cry with dinosaurs is a tall order, and
it is 100%.
It's easy to fuck up.
Yeah, it is 100%.
But
if we're talking about Far Cry, the only thing I want to see is the fucking little ultralight helicopter from 4, because that was the funnest thing in any Far Cry game I've ever played. Was flying around that little helicopter like dropping Molotov cocktails on.
Oh, the gyrocopter? Yeah,
yeah. That's all you need. I don't care about fucking dinosaurs. I don't care about story or cool villains. Like,
I'm not even talking about like
a fun sandbox gameplay of.
No, I'm not even talking about like the design of like the Ubisoft Far Cry. I'm talking about like Far Cry 1 with segmented maps on a tropical island.
That's why when you were like Far Cry Primal sick, I was so like, you're crazy, because that was the game that came right after the game where like I was flying around in a helicopter dropping bombs on people and just having a fucking blast, and you're running around naked with a spear going, this is Far Cry. Like, no.
Yeah, dude, it was so sick. I love Far Cry Primal. Yeah. Fuck gyrocopters.
Dude, fuck you.
Gyrocopters are awesome. Fuck off, Nick.
That was the coolest thing in that whole fucking series. That whole bullshit series couldn't wrap its head around what was fun. Okay.
Also, yeah, it's a Tiny Build is the publisher. The developer is called OMYOG.
The bow was cool. Which I have to assume that Primal had a bow, right?
Of course Primal had a bow. It's like your main weapon.
Don't give me that fucking tone, Nick. Like,
yeah, man. Far Cry Primal's peak. All right.
Well, that's debatable, but okay.
Of course it's debatable. I know I'm in the minority on that, but I do...
You're entitled to your wrong opinion. It's okay.
It was fun that they did the whole Quest for Fire thing where, like, they were speaking some kind of like made up gibberish language.
Dude, the whole game is a made up language. Like, that's part of what I love about it. Like, and you can play the game, and you should play the game without English subtitles. Like, you're literally just trying to like make sense of the story through like.
That's interesting. That's fun because like
it's got nothing else going for it.
Shut the fuck up, Brett.
I don't know. That's like an exercise in like viewing a story that like I don't think you would ever say that about a movie or anything. Where it's like, oh, you should switch it to black and white, turn off the audio, and like put on a soundtrack and just try to like vibe out the scene as it plays. Like the fact that Far Cry Primal is the game that like really is opening up your idea of like experimenting with like storytelling and experiences is really funny to me. But
there was actually a movie that I went and saw by myself because I couldn't get Robin to go see it with me. Out of Darkness. I saw that last year. That's a movie that's kind of like Far Cry Primal in that it's Stone Age and there's no like understandable language.
Oh
so,
yeah,
like,
I remember that.
But it's like a horror movie set in the Stone Age. It was actually pretty good. But yeah, it's definitely an exercise in the same kind of thing, and I enjoyed it for the same reason. All right, guys, let us do it. Let us wrap up the 4-player podcast. Wait, okay, sorry, I fucked that up. Sorry. Let's wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. Brad, are you ready?
Yes. My 4-player minute is going to be me to rant about the final boss in / Act 3 of Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Listen, if you're playing this game and you have not finished yet, this is not a spoiler. After Act 2 ends and you get into Act 3, immediately go to the final boss and try to finish the game. Because if you don't and you do it's the fault of the game. They fucked up. They give you an airship in the big world where there's all kinds of floating islands and creatures and stuff, and they're saying you can go do whatever you want or you can go finish the game. Everyone, of course, is going to go, well, I'm going to go do some shit and get powerful. You start getting really powerful pictos and weapons, and it gets crazy, right? And like, even if you're not like going nuts, even if you're like barely diving into the menus, like Nick or whatever, you'll do enough of the shit out in the world that when you get to the final boss of the game, you are like, dude, when I say you're overpowered, it is you'll literally one shot every phase of every final boss and kind of ruin the moment.
The final boss never even had a chance to attack me.
So here's the thing. It's bad. And like people told me, well, just remove painted power. The thing that breaks the damage cap.
I said that.
No. That's not enough. I removed every single damage boosting picto I had, including painted power, and you're still way over. You look at the fucking turn bar on the side, and I go like 8 times before the enemy goes, even in the final boss fights. You're literally skip,
because of other things.
skip.
Yeah.
And then
of
the
your
enemy
speed
goes,
and all
yeah,
that
my
stuff.
speed stat is so fucking high that like you have, and it's such a whack way to even try to like handle that situation where I had to nerf myself so much just to get a little bit of extra dialogue in those fights. Because by the way, there is dialogue in those final fights, and if you're one-shotting them, you're not getting that stuff.
Yeah,
they fucked up. They fucked up. They shouldn't have handled it that way, or they should have had a final boss that's scaled at least kind of to your level.
Yeah,
because
it needs some scaling.
It is a, they undercut like a really, like I think like those final like handful of boss fights are like in terms of the story like really cool and exciting, especially the final fight, right? Like that's like exciting, like high stakes, like oh shit, we're really doing this. But to have it to be like game system wise to be a complete joke is a complete failure in terms of like story and married to gameplay like moments. Like they ruined it. They fucking ruined it, and it's their fault. And it's like, I think the game is incredible. I think it's incredible. It's exceptional. I love the story. I love the endings. I don't know what y'all did. We'll talk about it eventually, maybe.
Yes.
It's one of the few games where we actually all finished like together around kind of the same time. We could actually do a spoiler cast. It is a game worthy of a spoiler cast, but man, if you get to Act 3, just go finish the game. There's a lot of cool stuff in that world. Just do it after. Just do it after, or you're going to ruin it. You're going to ruin it, and it's a bummer. Now, with that said, there is a new Jacob Geller video everyone should watch. Jacob Geller, he's, YouTube essay. He's a goat, right? Absolute, one of the best to ever do it, right? But he did a video on Clair Obscur, and of course it is great. But it is a completely like, you have to finish the game, Crispy. I messaged you in Discord.
I know
you watch Jacob Geller videos.
Watch his new video.
Watch the first 6.5 minutes because he does a beautiful job of setting up the story and the world and the stakes and all that, as he does. Watch the first 6.5 minutes.
He's gonna use like beautiful florid language and make an impassioned emotional argument and talk about what a joy art is to the human experience.
No. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about that. Stupid. Watch the first 6.5 minutes because I think it'll convince you to play this game much more than like we can by just berating you for not playing it. Just go watch the first 6.5 minutes because you'll be like, whoa, this shit seems good, cool, and you'll play it. So, but don't watch the whole thing because that game goes places and it does things that are like bold.
I thought
and shocking, and you should not have that stuff spoiled.
No. I thought you guys were like kind of joking and being lame about it, but I have caught several screenshots of this game recently, and every single time I'm like, is that fucking what's his face?
Batman. Oh, Robert
Pattinson. I'm always like, is that Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, you need to play this game and stop looking at who looks at screenshots.
No, I'm not looking up screenshots. I'm like existing in the world, and people are just like showing me their favorite French RPG, going, "This game's so pretty. I love it. It made me want to talk to my kids again." I don't know. Like,
no, I mean, honestly. Just go watch. Honestly,
dude,
just go watch the first 6.5 minutes of that video, Crispy, tonight, and report
what's
back.
Funny?
You dumb bitch.
Okay.
The Robert Pattinson in this game, which again, the funny thing is, if you're not familiar, Robert Pattinson is not in the game, but the character model looks exactly like Robert Pattinson.
It
weirdly
like illegal.
The funny thing is, I would argue that's not even the only character in the game
that looks like Robert Pattinson.
That mimics another actor that's not the actor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can tell they were mood boarding pretty hard. It looks
there is a character that every time they're on screen, I'm like, is that? No.
Is it who? Is that Andy?
Who's the actor?
There's a character that, to me, anyways, every time I see him, I think it's Pierce Brosnan.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
What's
not
that one?
Not.
That one French chick has to be in the game too, right? Leah Seydoux or whatever.
Nah,
You'd think, but she's not.
Mm.
But man, Brad put it pretty great. Their mood, or was that Crispy? They're mood boarding really hard, and like
Yeah.
it almost seems like it can't be legal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. I agree with everything Brad said, but I wasn't even that mad, even though I did pretty much.
I was mad because I think it could have hit so much harder.
I agree, but like everything up till the boss fight, I was just like kind of like floored by. So
yeah, but you married.
I know.
It is an amazing gameplay game in terms of in terms of systems, combat, like an RPG. Those moments when you see the introduction to like phase 2 of Simon, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, and you die. But like they set it up that way, right? You feel that and you know, there are times earlier in the game where you're facing off against like Renoir where you're like, holy shit, this is scary. Like you should have been like feeling stuff at the end in terms of like gameplay fear, and you didn't, and they fucked up, man.
Unfortunately, if you let yourself go too far, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube on that one. So
yeah, like the only thing I'll say,
it's their fault.
I know it is. It is 100%.
Set it up differently. They should have set it up differently.
There's nothing that you can't do after the final boss. Like there's nothing. There is.
You can't give people an airship and say, but don't do any of that.
I know
right now.
it was bad. It was a bad. Like should have literally just forced you into the final boss and then given you. But
also the way that and we'll go into this at the eventual spoiler cast, which we're going to schedule right now. Like the thematic way the endings play out doesn't necessarily play into like everything else in Act 3 that you could optionally go do.
Yeah,
being narratively right.
It's one of those games. Once you start down that path of like doing all the optional stuff, it's really hard to stop.
Yeah.
So
the minute you find out like an area entrance is no longer danger mode for you, you're like, oh shit, let's go check this out.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. So yeah, follow Brad's lead on that one. All right, passing it over to Chris Davis. What's your 4-player minute?
Well, I'm really glad that someone else is finished. I encourage. Well, Nick is finished now, so there's 3 of us now.
Yes.
So we just need to get one more person that we know to just even start up.
We need to get him to start the game.
I just need him to watch 6.5 minutes of the new Jacob Geller video.
And then the rest will happen naturally, is what you're saying?
I just wanted to play the prologue, the first 15 minutes of the game. If you cannot get through the first 15 minutes, you are a soulless person that I don't want to even know.
15 minutes. You have to debate whether you should have children or not and stuff. It's more than 15 minutes.
It is. That's fair. But like it's first 45. Anyway, my 4-player minute, I'm just hyped for, Gamer Hanukkah / announcement season right now. I'm hoping and praying that we'll see some delightful surprises like Ace Combat 8, like other things.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I don't even give a shit about it coming out like in 2 or 3 years. I just want confirmation that it exists. I want to feel how happy I was again when 7 was announced.
Bitch, you better hope they announce it that it's coming out this year. That would be a miracle. An absolute miracle for your Fantasy Critic.
I don't give a shit about Fantasy Critic. I don't give a shit.
He's done in fantasy.
I'm just trying to manifest it into reality. That was my goal on January 1st. That's my goal come December 31st this year.
I'm just saying, if you did manifest it and it was coming out this year, that would be 2 years in a row you've manifested something that.
I mean, yeah, sure.
That counted on your league.
Sure. Yes. Lovely. Yeah. Otherwise like this week has just already been kind of shit for me, so I haven't really cared about anything. I don't even give a shit that the Switch is launching in 2 days. Crispy, by the way, after the meeting.
Is that really 2 days?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
I think my order says it's arriving on the 11th.
Well, you might have gotten one of the late things, but I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, mine's coming late too. Hey, I got an idea. How about next Tuesday we just do a spoiler cast, and Crispy can go play the game that day, and
I'll join the call muted while I'm playing.
Yeah.
Interject.
Dude, that honestly
just cut us off of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, just make it real.
We'll just wait till the moment that Crispy is truly hooked. Probably right at the end of the prologue, and then we'll spoil everything for him, and he'll be like, "No, I love this."
We'll discuss this off the feed and figure out a time to do that.
Hey, y'all, have I brought this up? Have y'all heard like the argument that like, oh, actually, you know, somebody did a study, and actually, people who had the story spoiled ended up actually appreciate the story more or whatever. You ever heard about this?
I have not. And I don't buy it.
And that sounds
it's horseshit. It's horseshit. That people misreport.
That sounds so reasonable.
People misreport on that. The research is like, oh, the studies show that the people who had the story spoiled appreciated it more, which sound like horseshit. I looked into that study more, and it's actually like people like misreport it. It's people enjoyed stories where they're like framed with like the ending first, like where they're spoiling like something that happens to like a
it's told out
plot
of order.
or a character or whatever at the beginning of the story versus like the end. And I'm like, yeah, probably because those are more like artistic, like interesting films where they're doing interesting things with the structure as opposed to like a more traditional like chronological narrative or whatever.
Well, like
so I'm
what
not
movie?
like
Name a movie.
What? Like, I don't know, fucking
That matter?
Memento or something, Pulp Fiction, like something that doesn't have a traditional structure.
They're doing a study on spoiling movies, and they're focusing on things like Memento and Pulp Fiction.
No, you're not listening to me.
I'm saying, I guess I don't know what you're saying.
That's the study that people reference when they're saying, "Oh, you take spoilers too seriously," but that study is actually about something completely different.
I'm not referencing any study.
I'm not even talking about you.
Okay, but what I would say on the subject is that like it makes intuitive sense. We all have movies that we like, right? That we've watched more than one time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You ever watched a movie you've seen before and been like, well, this sucks because I know what's going to happen?
I have done that actually, yes.
Yeah, okay, but like the movies you actually like, were they actually good movies the first time, and then the second time you're like, well, it was a good movie, but I'll never see it again. Like now it's a bad movie that I don't like.
That's not a valid. But okay, guys, I don't want to get into this, but like that's not fair either. But like even if that's true, like that doesn't mean the first time you watch the movie you want to know what's going to happen. See it. Like that's a totally different argument.
That's fine, but
like I'm saying like they weren't even talking that study.
You guys act like that like the first time you watch any movie is always going to be the best viewing of that movie that you had.
Well, that's certainly
which
not
is
true.
Just ridiculous.
I did like Mulholland Drive is one of my favorite films of all time, and I did not like it until like the fifth time.
Until you watched like 4 times. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know, on that subject, I will say this: if I could recommend any movie like that, one of the most exciting films I've seen of that nature in the past couple years, Strange Darling. Excellent fit. If you ever watch Strange Darling, it is
I just think if you watch a movie the first time and you're like, this is great, and then you watch it again and you're like, this is boring, then it's a boring movie. Like it's just not a good movie.
That's fair, but I feel like that's also a different argument. All right.
I've had movies. Okay, yeah. Let's
Crispy, are you ready to do your 4-player minute? Or sorry,
I don't fucking have anything to talk about. I don't know. I played a bunch of Monster Train 2, and it's okay. It's fun. It's I don't know what it is.
I played a bunch of Monster Hunter.
Does everybody hit like this crazy like 40-hour wall with every single roguelike that they play? Where
that's
like
a real thing.
Where like you progress a lot the first 10 hours and then you don't progress at all for the next like 40 hours, and then maybe one day you progress past that point and then you're like, oh, like okay.
And the floodgates open.
Yeah,
it's a floodgates.
Am I stupid? Like,
that doesn't happen to me anymore.
Roguelikes bogged me down every fucking time, and I love roguelikes, but like, I definitely hit that point in Monster Train pretty early where I'm just like, okay.
Did you do any of the dimensional challenges?
No, I tried it one time early and was like, this is.
It's crazy. Like there's some really cool like challenges in there, like weird challenges in there. You should go in there, especially because you unlock factions. There are 10 factions in Monster Train
There's
2.
10?
There's 10.
No.
Go into the dimensional challenges. You'll unlock more factions. Now,
I'm not criticizing the design of the game or anything either. Like,
are you going up in Covenant rank?
Me.
Are you going up in Covenant rank? Because every time you beat the game, you go up in Covenant rank, and the game is getting harder.
No, I've never gotten to the last fight yet. I haven't even got I played for 20 hours and I haven't gotten to the.
Okay. We should do a stream together. Because I beat it like every time I play it. So we should talk.
I guess I don't know. I think there's also I think this also has that card game thing too, where like any mechanic or like faction or characters that I think are cool are the worst, and the ones that are the best or the most like meta are like the ugly boys that I don't want to fucking talk to, you know.
I mean,
I don't know what that is.
Good. You just have to know how to play them.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever.
Who are the ugly boys?
I don't know. Like the people I'm not picking. Like the characters I am picking are. I will say the most success I've had is with the Angel faction, the Banished or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're definitely the easiest to like.
They have that like Avenger unit that's like a dude in armor. It kind of looks like a cleric with a mace, and if I buff him up and then just like copy him as many times as I can and build a deck around that, super easy game. But
there's some stuff I can help you with. I bet I know where you're running into issues, and I can go over that real quickly. Stuff like, by the way, you can see the bosses, what they're gonna do like ahead of time, and you should like on the map, you should be planning for those things, stuff like that. Anyways, yeah. Nick, take us away. I gotta work on
word. Okay, well, no secret here. This is inevitable. The real reason I'm having trouble concentrating on gaming and everything. Dexter Resurrection, baby, trailer's out. I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Hold on. Can we? Everyone knows you're fucking hype, and we're so tired of it. But we're happy for you. Listen, can I add to this part of the conversation by saying that like Malia is like really excited for Dexter Resurrection after watching that trailer? But here is the rub. She's done this to me before. I'm ride or die with her, obviously. I have 2 fucking children with her.
Yeah, of course.
But she refuses to watch the fucking prequel series. She like she watched an episode of it. She's like, I don't like this. I don't care about this. It's a prequel anyways. I don't give a shit. She's excited for Dexter Resurrection. She doesn't care about the prequel series. And she's like, I'm not going to watch that. We don't have to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm still very excited for the new Dexter. Now, in your brain, you're probably like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I get it. But she likes Dexter. She likes Michael C. Hall. She doesn't care about young Michael C. Hall. So, and I'm like, first of all, you care. I'm telling my wife, I'm like, you care about Dexter way more than I do. But like, this is unhinged behavior. I am not going to watch Dexter with you unless we watch this prequel series, because what are you doing? We famously stopped watching Buffy. She loves Buffy. She convinced me to watch Buffy. We made deals. I finally was like, fuck it, we're gonna do it. We finally started watching Buffy. When we got to Angel, she says, I fucking hate Angel. I'm not gonna watch Angel. And I'm like, you brought me here. We are watching Angel with Buffy back and forth.
That is unhinged behavior.
I am not watching Buffy with you anymore. And she's like, well, I guess we're not watching Buffy anymore because I'm not gonna watch Angel. And I'm like, that is not normal nerd behavior. This is how I know my wife is not a nerd. Because a real nerd's like, well, I have to consume all of it. I mean, what's the point if I don't consume all of it? It's crazy.
Okay.
Like, she loves something and refuses to watch something that is so important.
I will say this. I don't have the exact same experience, but there are sometimes, like, my wife will, there's a movie coming out. I'm like, I know my wife's taste. I know what she likes. She's going to be into this. And I show it to her, and she's like, not interested. And I'm like, what? And then I have to end up going to see it by myself. Like, I can't get her to watch Sinners. She's like not interested. Yeah. Although I think she's starting to come around on that.
Wow, that could just be a race thing.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that. But like, there's just some like it happens frequently. Just
she's done that. She's done this shit before with me.
But
she refused to. Yeah, go ahead. She, like the Harry Potter prequels. She loves
those
Harry
are bad.
Potter. But she loves Harry Potter, and I'm like, oh, well, if you love Harry Potter, like even before, she doesn't care that if they're good or bad.
What,
if they were 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, she wouldn't want to watch them because like I only care about Harry Potter, like literally the homie and his friends. That's the story I like. I don't know what this shit is, but that's not what I like, so I'm not going to watch it. So she's never seen one of those, even though she loves Harry Potter.
Is she going to watch the series?
No, she read Harry Potter. She watched the Harry Potter movies, and that's all she cares about or likes.
That's fine.
But they're doing a series that's just the books again.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, HBO is doing that.
Yeah, maybe
they recast all the characters as kids.
Yeah, maybe she
was doing the series
real quick about the Dexter thing. While I do think that is unhinged behavior, it's not like because they're literally opposite ends of the timeline. Like there's not a ton. But
it's probably connected, right?
I mean, they're probably they would be dumb at this point to not create.
Isn't there story revelations and shit in that prequel series?
Some, but not
that important.
Not that I think is going to have much of a ripple effect.
Okay, so we don't need to watch it. We're just going to watch this new one and not finish.
I mean, I would say
learning that Yoda and Chewbacca were friends the whole time.
That is why I don't watch any Star Wars anymore.
I will tell you. I will say this, Brad, and I think that is unhinged behavior because everybody who has watched that prequel Dexter fan has come shockingly impressed by it. Like most people are like so on. Dude, people were like really excited throughout that entire season.
Not like critics who write reviews for like Metacritic.
It was received critically. It was received well.
I'm just.
It got a second season renewal. Okay. It's good.
Sure.
Good.
No, I'm pushing it because I think it's like unacceptable. It's like we can't. You're not a fan. This isn't fan behavior. This is absurd.
I will also say this: the prequel series, the first episode, probably the weakest episode of the whole season.
Okay. We may have watched 2. I don't know.
But anyways, that's just my thought. Anyways, I'll leave it at that since we just okay, guys, that's our show. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Talk about we might be doing a spoiler cast. I don't know, but it also seems like a logical thing to talk about. We did transfer at Gamer Hanukkah / Summer Game Fest. So I don't know. We'll figure out logistics, but in the meantime, make sure you join us at discord.gg/4Player. We'll keep everybody apprised of the plans, and of course we'll be back next Tuesday night to do this all over again. So thanks for listening. In the meantime, you can find all of our episodes on your favorite podcast server.com, and we'll catch you guys next week. And be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Bye. Make sure you check your recording, especially at the end there. You were doing a lot of the split second cutting out.
Yeah, you were.
Not
me.
Bad.
Yeah. Fuck. Just at the end there, just to see if it's in your recording. Because if it's in your recording, it might be like a bad cable or something, and not like Discord or whatever.
Yeah, like it cut out when you were trying to say 4playernetwork.com.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
But it's fine. Like at no point did we really lose you, like in a way that crippled the conversation. But it's definitely something maybe you should like reseed your cables at the very least.
It's on the recording.
Swap US. It's not in the recording?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Weird.
Then it might be Discord then.
Yeah, Discord thing.
Okay. Well, in that case, could you send me the raw audio files when you've mixed them?
Is it that bad?
I mean, it's happening enough throughout to where I would kind of want to fix it.
Yeah. It'd be better if it wasn't like that.
Yeah. Do you want me to just send you the audio mix or just my audio?
Do the mix, because I need to link.
Wait, so they didn't hear it on stream?
Oh, they did.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
But like Glegor's saying, he didn't really even hear it. So what I'm saying is, it's not really so bad. Like we didn't lose you completely in a conversation.
Yeah, I think it's just Discord fucking up.
Cool. I'll accept that.
All right, I'm going to bed.